Hey there! Welcome back to another episode of What's So Funny, the show that probes the minds, the brains, and the psyches of the people who make the funny. Tonight, TV Shaun Majumder makes his debut on the program. You know him from Standup, maybe his alter ego Raj Binder. What else? Majumder Manor just finished its first season on the W Network, or really any TV show that has a number in its title. This hour has 22 minutes. Detroit 187, 24. The list may or may not go on and on from that. This is a fresh one, folks. Not quite in studio fresh, but only 2 days old. I sat down with Shaun in the cozy confines of the comedy mix where he headlined last week. And we hit the ground running here as the conversation flows from off-air to on-air. So let's get right to it. Here's Shaun Majumder.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love editing. Editing is one of the greatest things in the world.
You do a lot of editing?
I do a lot of editing. I edit to know that, like I'm cutting right now, actually, my first... I've never put out a DVD or never put out a live solo performance, and we did a show last year at the Winter Garden Theater as a part of this larger film thing we did. And my buddy Johnny B and I have been working our butts off to get that nice and tight and get the voice right and get the narrative and the storytelling right. And because I did 2 nights, each were about an hour and a half, a little longer, and there was a lot of material to choose from and a lot of cameras to have to deal with in terms of, oh, that shot was shaky. Oh, why did he pull away? Oh, that's too wide. Oh, it's too close. Why is he so close on that shot? So I love that, because then you really do. It's another level of storytelling as soon as you get into that world of like reacts and like pauses and audience reactions and. You know,
but it's got to be true to what happened, too, right?
Absolutely. There's no manipulation, but there is a nuance and a finesse, because sometimes you've got, even if it's a fumble, even if I'm like, if I'm saying a joke and I have to start, just like when you're about to cough, like cough, go ahead. See, now you're going to have to cut that out. You won't be able to because I was talking over it.
You just spoke over me, bastard.
So I was just answering or looking at a response, an email from my manager.
Oh, you got a manager?
I have a manager. Shaun, I'm inquiring about your interest and availability to participate as a celebrity. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
In the Danny Gallivan CF golf tournament, raising money in support of cystic fibrosis. Well, hold on now. Cystic... No, I'm not going to. I don't even know who are the cystic fibrosis people? What do they do? Like, what's their cause, these cystic fibrosis people?
Yeah, it sounds shady to me.
It's sketchy, man.
Yeah.
It's sketchy. Cyst? No, this is great. I would love anything I can do with Danny Gallivan.
And being known as the celebrity.
Yeah, yeah. There's going to be more than me, I bet. It's going to be fun. Bob Cole.
Are you a golfer?
I do love golf.
I saw you surfing the other day.
You did? Where did you see it?
There was a...
Would I tweet it? No, I didn't tweet it.
This was... it was a visual... It was a video podcast. So I know you haven't done many podcasts.
This is my first.
Popping your cherry.
This is like... It's so far, it's really pleasant.
Isn't it?
And it's like we're warming up to it. You're not very forceful, which is good.
No, I'm not. I'm going to let you carry me.
Yeah, I like it.
We're sitting in an empty comedy mix.
Yeah.
It wasn't empty last night.
No.
It was rocking when you were here.
It was good, man. This was fun. I was saying to you as I walked in the room, I was like, wait a minute, empty comedy club in the middle of the day, right?
In the middle of the day. We should stress that.
We are here now in the middle of the day. No, but there is something to be said about, like, when we first started out, at least when I first started in Toronto doing stand-up, it's like one of the things that you do, you do a little workshop. Oh, it's a little workshop. So tomorrow...
With other comics?
Well, other comics, like 5 or 6 other comics. Ron Vaudry is our little host, our sweet, warm host. And we would go in there, and he would beat the shit out of us. like being on stage, and he would just be the most ruthless, brutal, amazing. I loved it.
Just tear you apart.
But not out of not like I'm an asshole, I'm going to tear you apart. He was like, Ron Vaudreuil was one of those first guys in the beginning. Same with Mike Bullard. He did the same thing. And it was tough love, and they knew what the fuck they were talking about. And it was great. It was great to hear. And some embraced it, and some reacted. You know, that's the way it always is with workshops. And with
you get your back up.
Get your back up, get a little defensive. But for the most part, everybody really was like, yeah, man, okay, I'm going to listen to you. First of all, Mike Bullard's a very large man. He can hurt you. Ron Vaudreuil is literally covered in venom. So if he touched you... Literally. He's covered in venom. And... Ron was one of the best teachers I ever had.
Can you remember a single thing, or is it just sort of a vague memory of him helping you? Like, was there one thing that you were doing that he just said, "No, this is garbage"?
Let me think now. Specifically, I remember he was just. I went over my time. That was like one of the first things that everybody learns hard, you know. But he pretty much benched me. He benched me for going over my time once, and then I remember Mike Bullard specifically. I took somebody's hat. This guy he was a fellow open nighter, whatever you call it, I came. The first guy was on stage. He had a cowboy hat. I came off stage, and I thought it'd be funny. And this guy who I was friends with, he gave me his cowboy hat, and I took it. I kind of took it, and I went on stage, and I started playing this character with this cowboy hat. And Mike took it as me making fun of the guy previous, but he also was like, "Don't fucking. What are you doing? Be your own guy. Be your own voice. Like just be you, you know? Don't fucking try to use these props and try to, cutesy character." He had one of the funniest lines I've ever heard where he said he was doing an interview about me for this film we did called Every Word is Absolutely True. And he goes, "I couldn't believe he would be up on stage for a full hour with only 5 minutes of material."
I saw those days.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, your improv background, maybe that's why you took that prop, that
that's
hat, right?
Yeah.
And also stretching, it's an exaggeration, but stretching 5 minutes to an hour, you're just up there. You're talking to the crowd. Yeah. You're
That's a big part of performance and live performance is like, if you get so stuck in your material sometimes, it does become tired. It does become, you get sick of it. You fucking hate it, but you're like...
And it sounds like you are, too.
Yeah, right. You start mailing it in, and some people... It goes from being potentially like an 11 performance out of a scale of 1 to 10 to, a nice solid 7. Like a good, solid, nice 6.5 to 7. People came and they paid and they had some drinks. They had a few laughs. Felt good, but that's not what you want to. That's not the experience that I want people to have when they leave. And I like if I'm in that zone and I'm feeling like yes, then if you're not tied to your material, then you're free to create a different kind of energy in the room, which takes it up to 11. And sometimes that doesn't mean it means you're completely free of your material altogether because you're listening and you're in the moment. And then every show feels like a brand new show. Even though in your map in your mind you've got all these jokes and all these stories and all these things that you're drawing from the past. It's like, wow, fuck, you can weave that in and make it work here in this moment right now. But it's out of sync with what you've ever done before. And so it's like, oh, it's still fresh. That's always the challenge, at least for me anyways, to try to keep that energy. So,
Now you're the comedy veteran. You've been around how many years now?
Yeah, I've been around 95.
95, yeah. So you could be doing these workshops. You could be the Ron Vaudreuil literally covered in venom.
Hey!
Like, do you pay attention to the guys opening up ahead of you or give them little pointers, give them tips?
I'm not around enough to do that now. Like, I haven't been doing so much stand-up that, like, I'm in the clubs all the time. I'm not even in the theaters all the time. I'm not doing a ton of stand-up. which
Because you're too busy hosting Brainwash.
I'm too busy. I'm too.
You're still doing that, right?
No. That show just got canceled, and I'm off to doing on YTV,
okay.
which is a great new show that we're going to be traveling around the country. I look forward. My producers have told me that I may have to dress up as things such as the North Wind, Cowgirl, Sunflower, even like old-timey detective.
Sounds fun.
And that's all in one day in Regina. In the boiling hot sun. With screaming kids everywhere. So I can't wait. I'm hoping this is going to launch my career, and because I want to branch out. I want to diversify.
Well, you certainly have diversified. So you're saying you're not doing as much stand-up now
because I'm busy.
Well, you got all these shows. You're acting.
Yep.
You got the Majumder Manor.
Majumder Manor has been very occupido of my braino. Yeah.
Occupying his brain.
That's right.
I will provide the... Can you get that? Do you need help?
Well, because I'm holding a mic,
Come here.
I'd ask a waitress to come up and say, or a waiter, and I'd say, it's just I was worried about the liquid part over the electronics.
Which I just spilled. Yeah.
So I've been busy doing all these other things. Majumder Manor, one of them. But also,
I can't watch that because it's on the W network.
And you don't have W?
No, but I thought that was just for women.
No, you do not need. It's not a prerequisite to have a vagine to watch the show. In fact, that's why they've brought me on to recruit those with wieners to come and watch the vagine show.
Well, this is good to know, for our listeners.
Yeah. It's an important step in their diversification. Again, I am a tool for diversity.
You are a tool. I've always said that about you. I've seen your picture on the sides of buses.
Why am I laughing at that?
Have you seen? You've seen them. You posed for them, obviously.
I did.
I laugh.
Oh, are you talking about the W network thing?
I laugh every time I see that.
Oh yeah, dude, it is hot. Vest, like. It's something about a vest. When a man puts on a vest over a shirt, the word sass comes to mind, the word saucy. I feel so saucy in a vest.
I picture you.
I will slap you in the face but lightly, and then we'll laugh and eat our Velveeta cheese with the cut wiener on the stick with the onion on the end, and we would eat and throw our heads back and giggle.
Right, classy.
Yeah. Hashtag classy.
I picture you, knowing you a bit, at the photo shoot, doing that pose ironically.
Yeah.
But then it coming out as, hey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not ironic.
No. Those are those things where if so let me
paint us a picture.
I'll paint you a picture. My now wife Shelby and I,
congratulations.
we show up in go fuck yourself. But don't you ever bring up that wedding again. No, Shelby and I are at the Chorus Studios in Toronto, and we show up, and W is tearing it up. W is decided, and I love this because the queens of W are they're spectacular executives. They really are. And so we show up, and there's this amazing promo shoot that they're going to do, and it's like one of the first ones that they've done where they're taking it up a notch in terms of their branding. And so there are all these giant orange balls everywhere throughout this big warehouse studio, and Shelby and I go in, and I like clothes. I do like clothes. I'm being silly about the vest. No, but I do feel saucy, and I will slap you in the face. But we walk in. Shelby has
with a pair of gloves.
Shelby has these options to wear, like beautiful dresses, and she tries some stuff on, and she looks smoking hot. And then I have a rack of things to look through, and I pick out some clothes. Fun. I pick the sauciest of all. We go out on this floor. There's music now playing. The director's like, do whatever, man. Just have fun. So now I could be that guy who's like, oh, I don't, there's not senile. What is the word? One who is bitter and jaded and a little too, they're very pessimistic, and there's a stand-up gene that a lot of stand-up comics have. That
yeah.
It's like, I'm going to fucking do this. What the fuck is this?
Yeah. Too cool for school.
Too cool for school a little bit, but not driven by ego, but more just like putting yourself out there. It's kind of a weird thing. I look and I go, we're going to have fun with this. We're going to fucking just dance. We're going to have fun, and we'll let it come out. And I'm not going to be too stuck up about it. I'm going to have fun. And I loved it. We had so much fun. Shelby and I dancing around these giant orange balls. There's a huge crane. I'm going to have fun with it. And we did. And then the shoot comes out exactly what they want. We had fun, Shelby and I. And, love it. And now they've got this whole new campaign that supports the show, Majumder Manor, and they get behind it. So every choice that you make when you go into one of these things has a larger impact from a business perspective, from a branding perspective, not your personal branding, but from an energy and also how you get people around that project to support it and to want it to happen even more. So every decision affects that moving forward. So they walk away and they go, they were so much fun. They were great. I can't wait to do the next one. We've got to do a second season. It's as simple as that.
Is that what they said?
They didn't say that.
Oh.
No. Don't you ever fucking bring that up again.
But they didn't say no to it, did they?
No, not at all.
They just haven't said it.
They just haven't said it yet, but we're very close. We're in development right now. They've given us money. We're going to shoot some things. Because it's not your standard show. It's not your standard. It's not your standard project either. For your listeners who don't know, maybe I should give some background about it if we're going to reference it. So Majumder Manor is a thing that has been birthed out of my brain and my partner's brains in Newfoundland, who they are the Take the Shot Productions is the company in Newfoundland that do Republic of Doyle. And Rob Blackie and Peter Blackie are brothers. One is an architect, Peter's an architect, and one is an executive producer. John Vatcher and Alan Hocko are also all producers of Majumder Manor. And so when I had this seed of an idea a bunch of years ago, I wanted to go back to my hometown in Burlington, Newfoundland, where I always go back to. I love it so much, and I want to share that place with as many people as I can. But
population?
350,
all right,
give or take, work in Fort Mac. And so I go back, and I buy the school one year, like about 10 years ago. I bought the school that I went to because I was just looking for land. I just want a place to call my own sometime.
It was closed.
It was closed.
You didn't shut down the school and say, this is mine now. Out.
I wore a big red hat, and I had a stick, and I walked into that place, and I spoke gibberish because it scared them more.
Yeah.
And they it's funny because they have such thick accents, they understood every word I said. It was very weird. But so I bought the school, bought the land. Of course, it was closed. It had been closed for years, just sitting there, and that's why the guy wanted to get rid of it. He's like, "Oh, geez, you can take that, man. Fucking to $2,700 is yours." I was like, "Holy shit!"
No.
$2,700 plus back taxes, which added up to be about $500 more. So you do the math.
How big a school?
$3,000.
How big a school?
School, 3 rooms. 3-room, little rectangular schoolhouse, built in 1947-ish.
I guess it doesn't matter for $3,000. Any space is
you're
amazing.
Getting picky now. You're just like, whoa. No, but it's land near the ocean in my hometown.
Right.
And so the dream started then, where I was like, what am I going to build there? I don't know. Am I going to build my own house? Am I going to build something for, what am I going to build? And over time, as I got more and more popular through YTV and Blockbuster commercials, I said, "Hey, you know what? Let's do a documentary film about me going back to my hometown and building a green building, like a solar, off the grid, cool place." That evolved into, well, I'm not going to get people to come aboard and help me build my own house. I started thinking, well, there's nowhere to stay for people. Let's build something for people to stay in. So that evolved into, I'm going to build like a bed and breakfast, and we're going to shoot that, and then all the money's going to go back into town. Then I started reading about social business. I'm like, what the fuck? This is amazing. This world where you can create these businesses in a community, whether it's your community or Bangladesh or India or where Muhammad Yunus started this whole social business craze right now, and to think, okay, if I build something where revenue streams come in and the money can go back into the town, this is the start of something big. So I partnered with Peter Blackie, who is an architect, and both of us kind of we both had the same kind of aspirations from a rural sustainability from that angle. And we both were like, this is not just about one building, it's about a community. So then the TV show, W Network came aboard and said, yes, we'd like to do a documentary series about this. And then we started building the pieces from there. So the schoolhouse went from being like land, I was going to build my own house, to a bed and breakfast, to a much larger kind of higher-end accommodation, more like a 5-room Ecolux lodge with a really high-end kitchen. So that's the long-term goal of that. And the show aired this past year. It's been spectacular. People have responded really well to it. The numbers have been great. The inn did not get built, so that means we have a long-term goal that each season we can keep building towards. So now the stories are going to be about, what are the little pieces of the project that we can build, and also share the people and the characters of this cute little... It's a beautiful town with amazing characters. So from a storytelling perspective...
Yeah, great little characters.
It's great little characters. They're great people, and they're real, and it's honest, and it's not manipulated. And I've been fighting really hard to maintain the truthful integrity of a show like this, where in an amazing world of like shows that do everything they can to rip the truth out for the sake of a conflict, for the sake of someone throwing a vase. It's like, fuck that, man. There's no need for that. We don't need to... If a vase is thrown truthfully, great. But we don't need fucking flipping tables. Like, that doesn't make good TV. And there have been times where we've edited this thing, and they're like, we need more conflict. It's like, no. The conflict is Shaun trying to do this crazy thing in this town. Let that be the conflict.
Yeah. It's so artificial.
Most of it. You mean television in general?
That idea. We need more conflict.
Yeah.
Well, why?
What?
We're
Why?
invested in watching, seeing how this grows. Life isn't all about huge conflict
That's right.
and resolution. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
And also, too, those kinds of fictional... Those attempts at creating drama from nothing by... cutting things out of context. That's what I mean by editing is so powerful. It's like you can take a look of somebody and it's a single shot of somebody and they're reacting to something that, like a dog pooping on a lawn. And you pair that image with someone pitching their idea about something. And then you cut to the person reacting to them looking at the poo on the lawn. And it's like, whoa, man. Because you get invested. You're like, that girl hates you. Why does she hate you so much? What? No, she wouldn't fucking... What are you talking about? But you watch the show after and you see these things. And I've talked to different people who are on these kinds of shows. And they're like, yep, that's just how it is. And we have no control over it.
They're all accepting of it. Now, you live down in L.A., right? Where a lot of these reality shows get made.
That's right, yep.
And so I guess you've come into contact with lots of these people. But
Not lots, but yes, I know of some that I've talked to, and then I read about it, and I do everything I can with Majumder Manor to avoid that.
Right. Everything you can. Are you saying that some of it gets by, and you go, that didn't happen that way?
No, I think some things that have to be, like, for example, we did 8 times, other than the film, Every Word is Absolutely True, which was the 1-hour special that led into Majumder Manor. So we did 10 episodes, really, but the 8 that were 1 through 8, that's 8 times 22 minutes of television. That's 2.5 to 3 years of a project compressed into that time. So time manipulations had to happen. Like we moved some things around that we bent light just a little bit, just to share the story in a way that made sense to the timeline. But we didn't manipulate people's emotional state. You know what I mean? Like we didn't overemphasize the fact that in the show, Rudy, who's one of our town skeptics, as we call him, he genuinely was like, no, what the fuck? This guy's not... Don't give this guy a crown yet. We don't know anything about this. He's talking the talk, but will he walk the walk? That's a fair, honest opinion about Shaun Majumder, who fucking from there, but been living away for a while, coming to this town and trying to do this thing. Mm-hmm. What are you really up to?
The producers didn't go out looking, hey, we need somebody to be like this.
Like, for example, what would be an example of trying to do that? is, and these were conversations that we had early on that we all came to an agreement on, that we weren't going to do, was like, let's take my girl Shelby. She's this blonde girl. She's beautiful. She lives in L.A. She's a California girl, even though she's from Michigan. And she's going to rural Newfoundland. Now, Shelby and I have been going to Newfoundland for the last 10 years. She loves it there. And they wanted to kind of spin her as the girl who's like, you know, the fish out of water, going to like she's going to hate it. And why is he going all the way to? It's like, don't fucking no. That's nothing to do. I get what you're trying to do, and I get why you want that to happen. So early cuts came in where there were other producers involved, and it was like. Literally, there was like on Shelby's arrival in one of the scenes, they had like ding dong ding dong ding dong dong boing, like crazy shit. Like I'm like, what? No. What's more interesting is Shelby going into the town and being like, this. What is like being honest about what the fuck is here? There's nothing here, and I love it. Mm-hmm. And that is more interesting, and that will have longevity. That will have. If you let it's so typical, it's so on the nose, but the truth is way more entertaining and interesting than a fictionalized cookie cutter.
I agree completely.
Conflict.
Especially over the course of a season. I see this on reality shows where somebody gets the bad edit. They're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Bad girl.
Yeah.
Right? But maybe the producers don't get the shots they need later on in the series, and so then we see them in a positive light later on and go, well, wait a second, we're supposed to hate this person.
That's right.
Right? Just because they couldn't spin it that way later on. Just have it be an accurate representation.
Yeah, absolutely. And my experience with this process with W Network, with Chorus, and with my partners in Newfoundland, we are making a show that we're all really proud of. W Network has been so supportive of our process because we've got like, you know, they're like, go ahead and make your show to our team in Newfoundland. And we do, and we communicate with W, and it's a rarity that a network has given us the freedom that we have. And we've had to earn their trust, and I think we now have this really great relationship. So I look forward to doing a second season. We have a machine now that we've tested that we can't wait to dive back in and be like, this is going to be fun.
Why wasn't the inn built?
The inn wasn't built because we did not get the money. I mean, that's the bottom line. And what happened was we went to the government. We put together a plan. And the plan was not quite ready. It was not there yet. And so, you know, the building itself, the way that we had it designed with Acre Architects from St. John, New Brunswick, and the priorities were the environmental impact. We wanted the systems, the energy systems in there to be the best that they could possibly be. And that was taking the cost up quite a bit. And so the $2.6 million price tag on that particular building was not attractive to the government, because right now in Burlington still there is nowhere to stay and nowhere to eat. So on a very basic level, we're talking about a blank slate, like an absolute blank slate. How do we guarantee the financial back end of this? If we put our money into this, where are the revenue streams? You're saying 5 rooms are going to be it's not enough. And they're right. They're absolutely right. So what they said to us was, when we went to them and said, they said, we believe in the project, we support what you're doing, but there needs to be a lot more on the ground before we give you this money or partner with you in that way, on that level. So what we've done is we have gone back to the drawing board and said, okay, let's not focus so much on the manor, but what were the long-term goals anyways? Okay, we do need accommodations. What are we going to do? We start small. We start with, I bought these prospector tents that we used for the Fire, Food, and Music Festival, which ended up becoming our season finale last year. And so we're going to outfit these tents, and we're going to make them glamping tents and really high-end camping. We've built a greenhouse. We went back to the ground. We said, let's build a community greenhouse, which is something that we had in the works anyways. Let's do that first. Community greenhouse is built. The tents are now going to be available for rent. We're going to do this Fire, Food, and Music Festival at the end of the summer every year now to help generate revenue. I'm going to go to places like Fort Mac and Tumbler Ridge, and we're going to do fundraisers. We're partnering with people, and it's like starting from the ground up has got to be the way to go. And so that's good to me. I think this is healthier. It's smarter. It's a lot more flexible too, right? It's like, let's just don't try to the manor. Well, why are you building a manor when there's no small businesses in place yet? So let's start small and work our way up.
If the W Network says no, we're good with one season, just go with me on this, Shaun.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
Who are you talking to?
Hypothetical.
Who are you texting?
If that happens, is the project dead in the woods?
No,
you're still going to go.
The project has always been the first priority. The project has always been a first priority. And now that I've got the more I read and the more I'm learning about social business, it gets me so excited because creating these sustainable businesses in the community will provide so many amazing things, not only from an economic standpoint, like just generating these small little economic engines. The greenhouse is one, the tents is another, the gathering is another, which is the festival at the end of the summer. What we've got created right now is we've got BSM Manor, which is the umbrella company. That's going to be that's the not-for-profit, and then we'll have divisions of BSM Manor be places that will generate revenue, that will drive money back up to the top, or from side to side. We may be able to support each of those small businesses by the revenue generated from each of these other small sub-businesses. Employing people locally. The greenhouse will be all about giving food and growing your own food in your hometown as opposed to waiting for the Cisco truck to show up. Newfoundland is an island, so I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that?
Yes.
It's a rock in the middle of the North Atlantic.
Please, Shaun, I'm Canadian.
A lot of you look African. That's why I'm confused. So I've
almost been there.
But we want food that gets to people's plates. It's crazy how everything comes in on a truck. If the ferries broke down, they got about 4 days worth of food in Newfoundland and Labrador. Then they're screwed. You got to go hunting and gathering and growing your own food. Imagine that.
In
That's
this
crazy.
day and age.
It's amazing, yeah.
Now, the skeptics, you got that skeptic guy.
Yep.
Are there any that go, hey, we like our town the size it is.
Yeah.
You're just going to make it too big, too popular.
Yeah.
We're going to be overrun with tourists.
Yep.
We don't want that. Is there that kind of opposition?
I have not seen that yet.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't
Maybe I
seen
could be that character.
You could. You could
cast me.
Who's that guy in the helicopter with the blow dart gun out the window? What is he doing? Oh, that's Guy McPherson. He's very skeptical. You know what? I know that they're there. They're just not coming out. And I'll tell you, I think the reason why people are hesitant to make that assumption, because my goals are not to expand the town. People who arrive and experience. The other thing is this is not a sleepy town that does nothing all year round. And I'm going in like poking a stick in a hornet's nest. It's actually, people are active. People are always outside. They're busy. They love the place. They all the things that they do, we're not interrupting. We're just actually supporting, putting structures there to support and give it an infrastructure to support what's already been going on. People go out on Skidoo. People go out on quad and they explore the woods and they go hiking and they go out and boat and they see all these things and they go salmon fishing and they go swimming in a brook and they explore and take a sea kayak and go out around shore and explore. These things are always happening all year round. But bottom line is there's nowhere to stay and there's nowhere really to eat. There's no options. So all I want to do when I think about big picture, and Peter Blackie and I have talked at length about this, it's like, let's just put the structures there. Let's allow the community to take ownership of that, because that's what needs to happen. It really is. And it's already starting to happen. And we celebrate the place by allowing people who are from there, who are living there all year round, to take ownership and to be able to make money themselves by being employed at these places, creating revenue streams for, the BSM Manor, for the not-for-profit, that will help things like simple things like let's rebuild the bridge that was taken down in 1982. Let's build some hiking trails that everybody's walked on, but let's give them more of a formal,
What the hell? Why has this not happened?
Yeah.
Why is it taking you? Well, like they tear down the bridge in 1982. It's okay. Just leave it.
Oh yeah.
Why haven't they been trying to grow the community?
Yes. It's a good question.
Themselves.
It's a good question, because I think, it's like there has been, and you talk to some people in the community, and there has been lots of chatter about people going, well, geez, whoa, that'll never happen. There's this skeptical view of growth and opportunity in small communities, I think all over Newfoundland and probably all over Canada in some places, where it's like, well, people are job-driven there in Burlington and Middle Arm and Smiths Harbour specifically. They go and they get a job. Then they work for however long they do. They get laid off. They collect unemployment. And then they're, it's not because, that's just the way it is. You got to find a job. You get a job, you make money, and you can buy your next thing or build that extra part of your house, or go for that trip you always wanted to go on. But from an entrepreneurial perspective, that is not so rampant there in those communities. The entrepreneurial idea of going, wait a minute, so if we build our own restaurant, like just take the food element for example, if we build our own restaurant here, that means what? Well, that means I got to do it. I got to work. I got to put effort into it. And that can be like, I'd rather just go to my job. You know what I mean? Get paid, come home, have supper.
Not worry about it all.
Not worry, watch hockey, not worry about it. It's just easier, right?
Yeah.
So what we're doing, I think, is actually, because what I'm feeling from people there, local people, they're starting to see it can happen, right? They're starting to see, oh, wait a minute. If we do put the energy into it, and it really is not a lot that you need to do, is that's going to be the other part of BSM Manor, where it's like, we want BSM Manor. BSM stands for Burlington, Smiths Harbour, and Middle Arm, by the way.
I know, I'm Canadian.
So you look Thai. That's what's confusing to me. As I sit here, I want to be like Kapunka to you. So that will be one of the supports for BSM Manor is, let's say we do have a large pool of money to work with, then the next step might be micro-lending to small businesses to help them get their start. You need your boat painted. You need for this new business you're going to create with boat tours in the summer, or you need to get your insurance to take people on guided tours of the area. You wanted to open up a small cafe. You've always, and I know two people in Burlington who are like, that's been my dream my whole life, is to have my own little cafe. Well, let's raise money through our businesses that we're creating underneath, and let's put money in towards that. Let's put together a business plan. That money can be used to put together a business plan for this couple who wants to open their little cafe. They can go off, and then boom, now they've got their own little business started. Then it keeps spreading and spreading and spreading, People who are doing arts and crafts there all the time. Let's start teaching people how to take pictures. Let's start people, believing in the power of just what you have right there in front of you. You have everything. You don't need to go to Fort Mac. Not saying Fort Mac is a horrible thing for people, but it is. No, I'm kidding. But it isn't.
It's far away.
But, it's not home. And I don't think people want to leave home. So it's a work in progress, and I'm learning every day, and I don't have any of the answers. I know what's guiding me right now is this crazy optimism, though, and I do believe in it. I do believe in the place, and I do believe in the potential for this being. It's not ideal anymore. Now it's actually, from a financial perspective, the economy, the economics of it do make sense to me, and And through a social business filter, it means it can be sustainable. But it has to be through that filter, not about shareholders or myself or anybody getting rich off of it, because that will derail everything, I think.
You've always been, I assume, crazily optimistic, right? A dreamer.
Got to be optimistic.
And it's worked for you.
Yeah, it has, and it will continue to work. There's no time to be wasted being doubtful. There's no time to be wasted being doubtful or pessimistic about potential, because what does it do? Really, what does it do? What is the purpose of the brain saying, fuck, that'll never happen? What does it do? It does no power. There's no power in it. There's no energy in it. What does it do for you to go, fuck, I didn't get that audition? That means, like even just making that noise, like what the fuck does that do? It does nothing. Conditioning your brain to try, and it's an active conditioning that you have to tell yourself and embrace, that you need to say that does nothing. Like there's nothing, no good and no positive can come from it. Blindly optimistic, being crazy in how you see the world, is only going to fuel forward momentum. And there are people probably listening to this who've been through situations where it's like, well, fuck, it's way easier said than done. I know, I get it. I live in this world of acting and auditioning and creating your own. You have to be the ultimate entrepreneur to live in this world and be a sustainable, active participant, because you fucking get told no every single day. You get told at the earliest days, you're like, it's never gonna happen. You're crazy. You're fucking nuts. And you are. But it's funny because the only way you'll succeed is by being fucking nuts. By seeing the world through a lens that nobody else sees. And everybody looks at you and go, you're fucking crazy. What are you going to do? You're going to give up that job and you're going to move to where? Look at Dr. Ken. Look at Ken Jeong. Ken Jeong fucking dropped being a surgeon or dropped being a general. He was a doctor. And I remember talking to him back in the day, and it was awesome because he's like, you know what, man? I'm just not happy. I'm going to do what I love. And he started doing stand-up. And I remember early days him just doing some stand-up and just trying and fucking bombing and then doing really well. And now look at him. It's amazing. And now you can see it. He's playing. He's a kid, and he's having fun. But, and he's a goddamn chink. That's tough. Fucking, oh, my God. No, but I love him, and I think that being an optimist, and I even say this in the show, why do I always have to justify? I feel like I always have to fight and justify being overly optimistic with people. People are like, and you're always fighting upstream with that, no matter what it is. But especially, look what I'm trying to do in fucking Burlington. It's crazy. But look, man, I know. I see it. I have a vision for the place. And I'm also, it's not just my vision. The vision is actually tapping into the people that are there and allowing their, it's almost like I want to bring to the top of their minds to see the opportunities that are there in front of them, to put some pieces in place where they can go, oh my God. Then organically they take it over and they become the heartbeat of the overall project. And, that's the only way it will succeed.
And there's something in it for you too, though. Maybe not crazy riches, but
no.
I mean, that's why you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's not all altruistic, is it?
It's not altruistic, but it's what is in it for me, though?
I don't know. What
would it be? I really
well, you going to go back and run?
I would have the places to stay. I would have the joy of being able to again, what at the core of it, it's to share that place with as many people as I can and to be a host.
I knew it.
It's so much fun. It's fucking great. And I do love that place, like probably more than anywhere in the world right now. It really is. And I've always said that. But what's in it for me, it's not financial, because I'm not, the financial side, I will make money off of the TV show side. Like I will, but that's not what's driving me. It's like, let's do a TV show, because that's one of the best ways to share the place with the world and to draw people to come, because that's the overall goal. And I love telling stories. I love the idea of, like I said before, in this landscape of shitty TV and fucking non-genuine, heartfelt, and it's not even heartfelt, it's just not genuine. We have an opportunity to tell a story that we want to tell and do it the way we want to tell it. Being entertaining, being funny, being truthful.
And doing some good.
Doing some good.
Yeah. Two careers here for you because you're not stretched out far enough. Premier of Newfoundland.
Is Kathy Dunderdale?
No, this could be you. I'm looking in the future.
Oh.
This is Shaun Majumder, Premier
Never.
Shaun Majumder.
Never.
Or a Tony Robbins type motivational speaker.
Never.
Telling people to get over that negativity.
Yeah.
Negativity.
Yeah. Premier. I could go and tell.
You could be the new Justin Trudeau.
This is the question isn't, does Justin love his country? Oh, Justin, I love you, man, but the acting, just pull it back a little. Like, just let it go. Throw it away, man. Throw it away.
The emoting.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, so.
I don't know. I don't know what I just want to tell stories. I love storytelling.
Yeah.
That's really a lot of what's driving me right now, too, as a writer and as just as a creative person. It's like, fuck, man, we have so many great opportunities ahead of us because of the seeds that we're planting. It's so funny because, I fight with Shelby about this sometimes where it's like, she's like, well, what's in it for us? Like, what are we going to fucking, aren't we supposed to have a house in Malibu? Are we supposed to fucking go and, we have all these dreams, build, second house. Where's our dream house going to be? It's like we're creating those opportunities now. We'll be able to get there. Money will find its way. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm not giving everything away to Burlington. I'm fucking over here creating revenue streams for my own personal goddamn self. I'm doing stand-up. I'm writing shows. And, I have every intention on getting as rich as possible through other means. But that's what's great about this kind of style of business and this kind of style of, you have the for-profit businesses and then you have the not-for-profit businesses. And that's the difference between social business and your typical corporation that, the whole drive is profit making. So I want to live in both those worlds in my life, to have all the things that I want to have. I want to travel the world. I want to build my own house. I want to, take pictures. I want to make movies.
You want it all.
Want it all.
Shaun.
Yep.
Well, let's... Okay, now let's hit record and start this podcast. All right. Our guest,
good. I feel warmed up now. I do feel warmed up.
Our guest is Shaun Majumder. Shaun Magringer, as you say. Magringer. Stand-up comic, where I first saw you, I guess, even though you started in improv. But, a lot of you've done a lot. You talk about a lot of shitty TV shows. I'm not saying yours were. But there is a lot on TV.
Of course.
But the most recent one I saw you on a couple of years ago, I guess now, was Detroit Rock City, or what was it?
Yeah.
Detroit 187?
Detroit 187. Yep. It was a show about murder.
Yeah. Here is so funny because, Canadians know you as this... effervescent, funny guy, and I turn on Detroit 187, which was on ABC, network, primetime show, cop show, and there's Shaun Majumder.
Yeah,
you were a detective or a cop?
I was a detective. Yeah, I was a homicide detective. My partner was James McDaniel of NYPD Blue fame, and Michael Imperioli from The Sopranos was on the show, and. It was awesome, man. It was fucking one of the best things I've ever done.
Now, what made it so great? What made it one of the best things you've ever done?
Well, I do, changing gears, my head, I have always had a passion for acting. I've always loved it. It was kind of my first love when I first started. That was kind of what my dreams were, and, how I saw myself is acting and being in film, being in TV, and doing stage as well, doing plays. Like I started doing theater, and stand-up was one of those things where it's like, okay, well, if you want to do this thing, you have to diversify. You got to do everything. So get into improv, get into stand-up, do everything, and then stand-up kind of took off for me in Canada. But you were right. It's like in L.A., when I went down to L.A., I started getting jobs doing drama. And that was fucking great because I get to do my drama in L.A., and, you know, it was in Detroit. We moved to Detroit and shot that show, and 24 before that, and different, like, you know, independent films and things like that. And it's great. And so the satisfaction, the gratifying feeling of performing and being on camera with these actors and living things in the most truthful way possible through script. Like, it's so wild. It's like on stand-up, your goals are to do so many different things. You know, you want to be silly, you want to be crazy, you want to be poignant, you want to fucking push some buttons, you know. But in film and TV, it's just all about being truthful and honest and connected, right? So that is just a different part of the brain. So to nurture that and to grow in that way and learn that skill set was awesome and is awesome and will continue to be awesome.
That's interesting. You said acting is the most honest thing, or script, through script?
Well, no, I think doing drama is, first of all, way easier than comedy. Absolutely. But it's also, it's much much harder to get to at the core of it, in that extra kind of higher level. I don't know what it's just about being truthful and honest and connecting with your partner. But no, what I was saying is truthful through script, right? As opposed to being truthful in a reality show or being truthful on stage doing stand-up. It's like someone else's words.
The script?
Not true to the script.
Okay.
Being honest. Like, I'm taking other people's words.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just,
and as an actor,
reading them.
Yeah, you're just reading them, but you're creating a character and you're creating an honest relationship with your partner within the universe of the show and within the universe of that episode. The complexity of putting that together and to let that carry so that your audience falls into that world and buys it and believes it and goes on that journey with you. But that's someone else's invention, right? So doing that, interpreting those words and making it your own, and then impacting your viewer and impacting your fellow actors, that is different. It's a totally different headspace. So you're taking bullshit and imaginative fantasy and making it as truthful as it would be so that others experience it through you. It's fucking crazy. And I love it. And it gives
you
a super
bigger
challenge.
rush than stand-up, say?
I wouldn't say than stand-up. They're just completely different creatures. They're completely different animals altogether.
But you liked having that two careers going at the same time in Canada, mostly through comedy.
Yeah, in
22
Canada,
minutes
absolutely.
in stand-up.
Yeah.
And then in the States, you were on 24.
Yeah.
You were on Detroit 187.
Yeah. So again, it's that whole diversifying thing where your brain is able to do all these other things. But yeah, I'm hungry for change. I'm always hungry for a new challenge. I'm always hungry for going a little deeper for whatever it is. And I'm still like, I've always felt, and I think that's what's beautiful about stand-up. I've always felt like as a stand-up, I have so much to learn. Like, I still have so much to learn. Always. I mean, you always will. You ask any stand-up who's genuinely looking to get to the core of whatever, stand-up is one of those things that is a beast, and it's huge, and it has so much more potential to have an immediate impact on people. Because you're also a social satirist, you're also commentary. You know, you're making people laugh, but you're also wanting to make people think. And you know, going for that means you got to be in it for the long run to explore and get there. And then in acting, it's the same thing in a different way, you know. But acting is a lot easier than stand up for sure. I think, you know. Stand-up has got to be one of the hardest things in the world for people to do and to live in.
Because it's your voice.
It's your voice. What do you think? I mean, you watch so much of it. Like, what's your?
Yeah, I think stand-up is the greatest truth.
Uh-huh.
Now, it isn't exactly 100% true because it can't be. Otherwise, people would be falling asleep.
That's right.
Maybe.
That's right.
Right. So it's crystallized, but it is the performer's self. I mean, there are personas, there's characters, right?
Yeah.
But acting is it the writer's medium, and the actors are just the vessels to bring the words forward and the characters forward. So I put a greater respect on stand-up.
Yes,
that's just
absolutely.
Me. But I hear people. I listen to Mark Maron's podcast a lot.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he's a guy who's grown up in stand-up. And when he talks to a celebrity actor, he's like a little kid. He's so... And I'm just going, they're just reading words. Like, why are you so excited about talking to that guy? Which to me is the stand-up is the creator and the performer and everything.
Absolutely. I think that that's why stand-ups, people who've come from stand-up, have I find an easier, I wouldn't say an easier time, but you see a lot of great stand-ups go into the world of acting. Look at Jim Carrey, right? Jim Carrey has been able to access certain things in his acting that if it were not for stand-up, probably he wouldn't be able to get to. And I think stand-up is it is the ultimate beast. It is really, really super challenging and super, super difficult. But then you get... I know from going there with acting, it's not just someone reading words. It's not just a guy taking a script and going, oh, shit, all you got to do is just show up and do your script, walk away, and it's done. No. There's a lot more inner workings and work that you need to do as an actor to reach certain kind of because you are recreating something in your mind that is not born of your own I mean, it is. You attach whatever you do. Obviously, you draw from your own experience with everything you do. But you have to understand that you're not reading it and mimicking it. You've got to take those words that were created by somebody else to tell this story, and then you have to turn it into your own experience. And not only turn it into your own experience on the camera, but you have to do it 17 takes again and again and again, and you have to wait around, and it could be one of the most emotional scenes you've ever done, and you have to fucking wait for 3 hours while they set up a lighting thing. Then you run in, and your partner isn't committed to you, and there are all these other things that are going on that set, and all these collaborations that you have to get right. And when the camera is that tight on you and you fuck up, and there's a producer back there who is paid, he's given $1 million of his own money so that your face is going to be in the right, and you fuck it all up, and now you're overtime, and now he's losing money, and now you don't have that in stand-up, man. There's no pressure in that in stand-up. You get up, you bomb, or you don't. And you get, who does more than a fucking hour and a half on stage? Most people do 15, 20, half an hour sets. You get off stage. I would say that acting in its own way has incredible challenges that many people don't see, and you look at it and you go, oh yeah, these guys who just do the shit. But
the repetition in stand-up is on a nightly basis, or you could go around, do several sets in one night as you're preparing.
Yep.
Your hour or whatever it is, right? Yeah, but also
stand-up is incredibly, incredibly challenging. But I think a lot of people don't understand how challenging it is. Not only if you're just an actor, never mind when you book the part, but when you're fucking, you know how many auditions people have to go through to get one fucking role? It's shocking, man. And it makes people crazy because you just start to believe the hype that maybe you're not good enough. It's that's some bullshit right there. That's where the optimism, that's where that understanding that negative seed, that little kernel that gets in your head, and you start believing that, you got to get rid of that right away, because you have to understand that you go into a room, the audition process alone is a nightmare. Comics don't have to do that. Stand-ups just get up and you do your thing. If you get time and you get a chance to go on stage, you make people laugh or you don't, you walk away. But the fucking amount of work and stress and the uncertainty of, never mind booking a role, auditioning once, but let's say you get the call back. Then you have to go in, and you're in the same room with about 6 other guys who are up for the same role. You're looking around at them. You go in, you do your thing. Now it's down to you and 2 other guys. Now you have to go test for the thing. You sign your contract before you even go into that room to test. They've negotiated the deal. It says right there, you're going to make $50,000 an episode if you book this role. But you've already signed your contract. And you go in, and the reader who's sitting across from you happens to fuck up his line. But you've got 20 executives in the room all staring at you, hoping you're going to nail this thing, and you have one fucking shot at it. And you don't get, like, that's not how the acting world is. If you fuck up a take, you can go, I'll go again. I'm going to try that again. But if you're fucking in front of those people and you don't do it right in that one moment, your 50 grand is fucking, now you got to go back out that room. You didn't book it. Now you got to start from scratch, right from zero. You didn't book that role. You got to start from scratch. You got to fucking take these words that are going to come at you. It's 6 pages of dialogue that you have to memorize for, like, what? To go in and have someone who's not paying attention to you be, like, on the phone while they're... Dude, the life of an actor is a fucking insane nightmare.
That's a dehumanizing process.
It's a dehumanizing process in the what is meant and intended to be one of the most human... sharing of a human spirit. And so I know what you're talking. You watch like the Oscars and they go on and on about, what we do, and they're so but dude, what people have gone through to get people cry when they win an Academy Award because they have been through Guantanamo Bay fucking 30 times over in the acting world, like just trying to fucking, and broke people living in, like Stephen Amell is a good example. He's now on this show called Arrow. And he's a Toronto boy, I think. Toronto, outside of Toronto. But the guy was living in his car for so long, and he fucking committed to learning the craft, and he committed to staying positive. And he's on a show, it's one of the biggest shows on NBC. And it's like, congratulations to him. But that could go away tomorrow. And then what? Nothing. You're back to fucking ground zero. I'm sorry.
I spoke to you first time you had just driven down to L.A. with your dad. It was right after 9/11.
Yeah.
I think it was 9/26 when we spoke.
Yeah.
And it was new and fresh and exciting.
Yeah.
And I don't know the timeline exactly, but you were fired from an Ellen DeGeneres show.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, were you just going, oh, my God. What?
That was the beginnings of me planting the seed of optimism. Like,
so that was
that was
choice
a crucial
you made.
turning point. Well, it was a choice that I made, but it was also a choice that became evident that you have to do. And you know where it actually was? It was actually the fact that so I get fired from the show. I come back after day 3. My agent calls me at home, and we were only in rehearsals for the pilot. Now, in my own little head, in my own world, she'd flown me down. She'd flown my girlfriend at the time down, and my mom was flying down to come down for the day of the taping. So Monday through, we were taping on Friday. Monday through Wednesday was day 1, 2, and 3 of rehearsals. Myself, Sean Cullen, Jennifer Irwin, all Canadians. And then there was Ellen DeGeneres and a fellow by the name of Tim Conway. I don't know if you know of Tim. Have you heard of
Tim Conway?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we go into the table read, and you know who else? Oscar from The Office. You know Oscar? He's like a Ecuadorian-looking guy on The Office.
Okay, I've seen him.
Yep. So anyway, he was also on the show, and we went in. We did table reads. We went to rehearsal. The script wasn't ready. Fucking nothing was working. It was really shit. But I was like, just there, was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, staying positive, And I had like one line in the whole thing. And anyway, I fucking get a call from my agent and manager. And they go, look, Sean, they're not moving forward with you tomorrow. I'm like, what do you mean they're not moving forward with me tomorrow? Yeah, they're letting you go. You're fired from this project. So
Any reason given?
No reason given. No reason given. Just doing a change, changing things up. I had one line. How do you fire someone from not doing one line?
So it could have just been, we don't need this character, not so much Shaun is doing a bad job.
Not in my mind in that moment. It was very like, whoa.
Personal.
It was confusing. No, it wasn't. I didn't know what to make of it. Because it didn't make sense. It's not like I fucking went in there and went, Ellen DeGeneres, you're a cunt. Fuck you. It wasn't like I did that. We actually had a great rapport. We had a great relationship, a great thing going. And for whatever reason, they just was like, no, we need to do a change. Myself and another girl actually were let go. But here's where it all came back, and it felt really good. Jen Irwin, who was a friend of mine, she was from Second City in Toronto, and she called me the next day, and she said they went to the table read, and I wasn't there, and this other girl was there. And Tim Conway said to Jen, first of all, I was like, where's Shaun? Why is he not here? And Jen said, oh, they let him go. And Jen said to me, he was like, this is retarded. And she said, Tim Conway told her, said, you tell Shaun that you are not in this business if you've never been fired, first of all. Like, get used to it, because it's going to happen again and again and again. And don't worry about it. It's like it's a rite of passage. And this was a message coming from fucking one of the demigods of comedy, Tim Conway. And I was like, wow, man. And then my mom came down to come to the taping, and I told her what happened. I mean, I told her before, and on the phone, she was like, yeah, oh, well, whatever. Did you know Ray Romano got fired from news radio? Now look at him. I go, Mom, how did you... I read Us Magazine, Us Weekly. It's in Us Weekly. I was like, wow.
She's very savvy.
She's very savvy, man. She's tapped in. So anyway, that was one of the first times where I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? Who gives a shit? Just fucking keep plugging.
And you told yourself, be positive. It's amazing what you can accomplish or what you can tell your brain to do, and your thinking will follow.
That's right. And you have to do that. You can't, if you're complacent, I tell you what, man, the virus of negativity is going to creep up and get you. It always will. And it does me all the time. And so, you know, every now and then I have to have this battle, because I'm like, okay, sit the fuck down, negativity. It's not your turn to talk right now. I know you got a lot to say. I know it's been fucking, you've been working at this for how many years, and whatever the case is. It's like, you know, and even with my girl Shelby, it's like, you know, she's this actress who was so fucking hot, had all these great things going in the beginning. Then she had a span of bad managers, and now she's kind of like, well, fuck this shit. I don't want to deal with this world that's like all about, you know. So now we're writing our own things together. So now her and I are writing movies together. That's our next goal, and it's fucking great. We love it.
That's awesome. She found a good man.
I found a good man. Yes, I did. And his name is Shelby.
And that crisis of complacency, you know, you were complacent. You didn't want to do a podcast all these years. I'm glad.
Yeah, I've
you
put it off.
You finally kicked yourself in the butt.
I have.
Joined me.
It's been a good ride, this podcast. I hope I haven't talked too much.
No, not at all. Now you got to do more.
Now,
or maybe not. Just maybe say no. Somebody asks you, say, no, I did Guy McPherson's. I'm done. I said all I need to say.
I will only sign one rookie card.
That's right. We're sitting in the club as we wrap up. But while I was waiting for you, I counted the number of pictures on the wall of all these comedians. There's 40 pictures here. How many do you think have been guests on this very show? Out of 40, Shaun.
Wow. Let me see here. You definitely you could not get. Let me see who's here.
Take a look around.
I want to see some of these people. We have Pete Johansson right next to me, staring at me. Mark Maron over there. Erica Sigurdsson, she's smoking. Irwin, tell me you've had Irwin.
I had him on a couple times.
I love Irwin. I think you've probably had one or two of these people on your podcast.
Close. Very close.
Paul Bay, have you had Paul Bay?
Paul Bay was my very first guest.
Love Paul Bay.
2004.
He's a funny Chinaman.
He is. Oh, we didn't talk about your racism.
But I'll save it for next week.
Next time
next week.
On.
Are you coming up?
By the way, 26 is the answer. 26 of these 40.
Oh, cool. I thought you were going to. I thought it was a trick question. You're going to be like, nah, 40.
No, there's some.
So you are pretty obsessive about keeping track of the numbers of. Did you ever do stand-up? Are you one of those guys that were like,
no,
I did my 146th gig yesterday?
No, but because you did my podcast for the first time today, first time doing
first
any
podcast
ever, I'm going to do my first stand-up set in front of you tonight.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Would you?
No,
Oh.
I would not. But no, I'm not obsessive about. I just walked around. I know who's been on the show, so I just counted. Yeah, there were 26.
That's a great number.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's
so now
aim for 30.
Add you to the list.
27? Am I 27? I'm not on the wall though.
You're not on the wall, so we got to get you up on the wall.
That's all right.
Shaun Majumder, thanks so much.
Thanks, Guy.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for writing great things and being a great writer and supporting comedy. Like, really, man, without people like you, a lot of comics out there that don't know this, like, without writers who get out there and share and like, you know, support the industry, because I love that you're passionate about it. You are so passionate about stand-up specifically. And so thank you for supporting the Canadian comedy scene, really.
Well, it's my pleasure. I'd like to accept this award. What do I get?
Why are you crying, you little Thai girl?
Thank you, Shaun.
Cheers.
Fun, right? That Shaun Majumder's a good guy. Glad he could do the show. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. We'll be back next Sunday night with a guest, a live guest in studio. He's an author. He's a comedian. He's a playwright. Mark Learon Young will join us in studio next Sunday night at 11. Thanks for listening. Good night.